I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Please call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Mayor. This meeting is called to order at 5:06 p.m. Councilmember Kaplan, Councilmember Dickinson, Vice Mayor Talamontes, Councilmember Maple, Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings. Here. Councilmember Vang. Here. We expect Councilmember Pluckybaum momentarily, and Mayor McCarty. Here. Thank you. You have a quorum. So, Vice Mayor, we're on land acknowledgement.
Please rise for the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Wintun peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Thank you. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
I kind of had to sync myself. I had to pause.
City. Okay. City Attorney, do we have a report out from closed session? No report out, Vice Mayor.
Okay. And moving along to special presentations, Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I'd like the members of the AAELC to come to the microphone, if they will, please. To everyone in the audience and those who are watching us on television as well, this month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans, and it's a time to recognize their central role in U.S. history. The event of National History Week was the brainchild of Carter G. Woodson, a Harvard graduate, an author, a journalist, founder of the Association for the Study of African American Life. Originally in February of 2026, 100 years ago, it was known as Negro History Week. But by the late 1960s, thanks in part to the Civil Rights Movement, the Black United Students, and Black educators at Kent State University, it expanded to Negro History Week into Black History Month, which is what we all know it as today. President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of African Americans. Since 1976, every U.S. president has designated February as Black History Month. This month of February, in the year of 2026, I'd like to have you join me in celebrating the legacy of Carter G. Woodson, the man who started this all. This is the 50th anniversary of Black History Month and the 100th anniversary of Negro History Week. That is incredible in itself. I'd like to present a resolution to honor the African American Employees Leadership Council of the City of Sacramento for their 10 years of advocacy, equity, leadership, courage, and dedication. President Obama said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." You have made significant change in how we look at ourselves here in the city of Sacramento. For the last 10 years, you have represented African Americans and others in every way possible to help them to have better job employment, better equity in their work, better upward mobility, to just be a great individual working for the city of Sacramento. You have done that, and you've given everybody the opportunity to have more fairness in their career and in their life. And so this is a day for us not only to honor African American for Black History Month, but also to honor the African American Leadership Council of the City of Sacramento. So please join me in giving them a round of applause. Please. We're going to take a picture. Come on through, please.
There we go. Yeah.
To the front row, I'll take a step to your left. A big step to your left.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and maybe the back row this way, a step or two, just to center it. Thank you.
That's good. Okay.
You-
1, 2, 3.
One here, please. Thank you.
No, you're good.
Are you going to say something? I'll say something. All right. Yeah, real quick. All right, good evening. My name is Dr. Obed Magni. I am the president of the AAELC. I'll be really, really brief. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for this recognition. 10 years ago, this was a pipe dream. We had a couple employees who got together. We talked about how can we be a champion for ourselves when it comes to professional development, equity, representation, advocacy, all of the above. And we decided, you know what? Let's create an organization for us, by us, to represent us and the very best of the city of Sacramento. And so the AAELC was born. Some of our trailblazers are no longer with us, Kim Polk and Tammy Jones, who played a remarkable role in helping this organization be what it is. I just wanted to say that we will continue, not just for the previous 10 years, but for the next 10 years and beyond. We'll continue to be a partner with the city of Sacramento and anybody else who wants to help us, represent the very best of us, whether it's professional development, advocacy, and so on and so forth. So again, just want to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the recognition. And we look forward to working with you guys soon. And have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. So a few council members wanted to add on as well, so just please have a seat. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't go away don't go away yet. Come back up to the podium here. We wanna. I personally want to thank you because you mentioned 10 years, and I can't believe 10 years have gone by that quickly. But I wanted to thank the organization and a lot of you have been involved early on when we first did our first audit on our employee diversity and the challenges we've had and also the recognition that it wasn't going to happen overnight, but that we had to be intentional about where we were in that point 10 years ago and where we are today. And we see that from that work, we led to an actual position, Ami Barnes' position, that became new at the highest level in our city management to be able to make sure that all our departments are moving forward. That's accredited to the work that you've done. from that. We also tackled and made sure that we put in the resources to also look at our fire department, which was the one that was having the challenges in recruitment, and looking at how we look at our youth programs, our academies at the high school level to encourage early intervention of pipelines. So, and that came from our, one of your members that was in the fire department as well, and brought those issues up. And even further, when, the issues that came across here at City Council during the pandemic, the work that all of you did to make sure that we were looking at how our employees were feeling, how the city and the council had responded, that came from this organization. And it wasn't just, our African-American employees that benefited from it. It was all of our employees that benefited from it. So, and that was the message that you all were saying, was that, the work that we do in diversity and equity and inclusion for our city isn't just for African-American employees, is that we elevate the bar. And I just wanted to personally thank you for that last decade of journey in that. So let's give them another big round of applause.
Yeah, Mayor.
Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also wanted to say, agree with everything that Councilmember Guerra said. And another thing I wanted to point out is that I believe that you throw some of the best events of any of, no hate on any of the other ERGs, but truly, I remember attending the event, I believe it was the year before last, where you had a speaker come out and talking about the history and artifacts, and it was one of the most educational events I'd ever been to. I walked away really inspired, and so that's just one example of something that you do. The other was I really appreciate how proactive you are on policy. So meeting with us in our offices, bringing issues to our attention that we may not otherwise know. And then also being really proactive in terms of ways that we can address those issues. I always really appreciate that. So don't stop. We want to continue the partnership, and just thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. I also wanted to, two things. One, recognize you, but also talk about the big picture of Black History Month. We're recognizing today, of course, this is the shortest month of the year, as we always note, but not one that we want to overlook. And want to make sure that we recognize this 365 days a year. So want to first thank our council member, Rick Jennings, for bringing this up on the city council. I think this is your 12th year on the city council, so we appreciate your leadership. And when I think about, Black History Month being 100 years old, certainly we've come a long way in the city of Sacramento. We're not done. I look about your organization, and 100 years ago, I don't know how many African-American representation we had on city of Sacramento employment. I would probably guess minimal or zero. And we've come a long way, from our police department to human resources to historically our city of Sacramento, public works department, solid waste, a rich history of the city of Sacramento as far as blue-collar jobs. For so many Sacramentans, but we've come a long way. We've had a dozen, I think, council members of African-American descent, 2 mayors now, and I'm proud to be here as well. And we know, first time, African-American city managers. So we've checked every box in the city of Sacramento, but it's not just about checking boxes, it's about representation. And as Councilmember Maple said, of course, we loved our February event out there with our employee organization. Where's it going to be this year? Last year was up in Natomas. We don't know yet. Okay, are we having it? No. Okay, sore subject. But we'll make it. We'll do something. Well, Councilmember and I will make it happen. How about that? But thank you for being the voice for employees throughout the city of Sacramento. So thank you, and happy Black History Month. Thank you. Do you know about that? I did know, but I don't know why. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
Thank you, Mayor. We move to the discussion calendar, which is fiscal year 2025-26 budget update and proposed adjustments.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. I'm Pete Coletto, the city's finance director. And what I always say is in municipal finance, we live in 3 years. So the prior year, the current year, and the budget year, and we're going to update you on all of those things today. So first, I want to start with our fiscal year 24-25 year-end results. And I do have some, always going to start with the good news. So we did finish the year positive. And I'll go through kind of that breakdown that you see up there. So we finished what I would call our operating results. So these are our departmental revenues and expenses, our tax revenues, we finished positive by just under $3 million. The next line you see there is investment fair market gain. And what this is our city has an investment pool. It's a treasury pool. It's invested in bonds. And a few years ago, when interest rates spiked up, the value of our portfolio went down. And so governmental accounting standards say when that happens at the end of the year, you need to actually take that unrealized loss in your year-end results. So a few years ago, we took some unrealized losses during year-end. The great thing about bonds, though, is if you don't sell them and you hold them to maturity, you get your money back. And so that's what's happened. The treasurer's done a great job, Stacy and John and the team, of not selling those securities at a loss. They've now matured. We've gotten our money back. We're investing it in market rate securities, and we're able to essentially pay ourselves back for unrealized losses from prior years. And that was $12 million in fiscal year 24-25. So we had a total of $14.8 million of year-end savings. That next line you see there, though, is we had an arbitrated settlement with the Police Officers Association, and council, as part of that action, said, hey, that $7.1 million of current year costs we're going to have, if we do have positive year-end savings, let's use those to pay for those costs. So that 7.1 is essentially transferring year-end savings from last year into this year's budget. And so net, we have $7.7 million of available general fund balance. And we'll talk a little bit more about that and what staff's recommendation is for that later in the presentation. This is just a reminder. I know everyone on council knows this, but our current year approved budget, $1.7 billion all funds, a little under $873 million general fund, supports about 5,000 employees. And this past year, when we were developing this year's budget, we were able to close a $62 million funding gap without any layoffs. Just a reminder of how did we close that funding gap? Well, we brought a very balanced approach, and so it's roughly half one-time balancing solutions, roughly half ongoing. The great thing about the ongoing strategies is they fix projected future year deficits, but the one-time strategies need to be made up in the next fiscal year. They really start our budget deficit for the following year. When we're looking at our mid-year update, again, some good news. Some of our revenue sources are looking better than budget. So property tax, utility users tax, transfer tax, and TOT are all projected above budget. Sales tax, we're leaving at budget. We'll talk about that in a minute. Unfortunately, though, our cannabis business operations tax is projected below budget. And so I've also gotten a few questions from council members. We had discussion about it in budget and audit. What does this mean for the Children's Fund and the allocations that council has approved? And we're going to talk about that in a little more detail on March 3rd. So this is a chart showing those updates. So again, utility users tax, $2.6 million. We're projecting positive versus budget. You can see property tax, TOT and transfer tax, and the cannabis tax. So overall, we're projecting our major tax revenues coming in this year at $2.9 million over budget. And that Measure L transfer, because of the lower cannabis BOT projection, we're transferring less money over into the Children's Fund. So we wanted to look at some of the longer-term trends in our revenues. So the first is property tax, one of our biggest single revenue source. You can see it just continues to grow, very strong. The city's growing, our property tax base is growing, and it's very steady. So sales tax is a little bit of a different story. What you can see there is, we saw really strong growth from fiscal year 21 to fiscal year 22. And, really, I always call this a little bit of a sugar high. And so when inflation really took off, the prices went up, people continued to spend, and we saw our sales tax revenues go up. But what usually happens in an inflationary environment is people eventually have to tighten their belts. And so we've really seen our sales tax revenues, both our Bradley Burns, which is our point of sale sales tax, and Measure U, which is our our point of destination tax, have flatlined. And this is not unique to Sacramento. This is something that we're seeing up and down the state. And it's really this inflationary dynamic. For the utility users tax, traditionally it's been kind of bouncing around, and it's really been because of two offsetting things. So we've seen our cable and our landline telephone portion of the tax really go down over a number of years as people were cord cutting. However, we've seen our gas and electric component of it go up, and now we're seeing more of a growth trend, which is a good thing. So how does this impact our forecast? So we updated our forecast from the approved budget in June. We're continuing economic growth. We're not forecasting a recession. We don't know when one might happen. One thing that's different about this forecast than prior ones is we've incorporated the cost for city proposals to labor groups in active negotiations. So we're in negotiations with most of our labor groups. The city has offers on the table, and we've incorporated those costs into our forecast. The other thing that we've excluded is HAP Round 7. So the state does have an appropriation for Round 7 of the HAP program. This is the homelessness funding. It's half of HAP Round 6, but we still have a lot of questions regarding the timing. So, traditionally the city has received its HAP allocation a year after it's been appropriated in the state budget, and that $500 million is appropriated in the fiscal year 27 state budget. So we're not sure whether we will receive it in fiscal year 27 or 28. We're talking to the state about that. The other issue is the state has signaled they are going to put additional requirements on the funding. We don't know what those are, and we don't know what those implications would be for us programmatically. We've also excluded the $7.7 million of prior year savings I mentioned earlier. So we wanted to show, how do these updates impact the forecast we presented to you back in June when you approved the budget. So that forecast is that top line. The expense and revenue updates I talked about earlier, you can see that in the next line. The cost of the city, again, these are the city's proposals on the table right now. That's the third line, and you can see how that all adds out. So, we're still projecting to finish this year balanced, a little bit positive, but we are projecting a $66.2 million funding gap for the coming fiscal year. And you can see that structural nature of our budget deficit, where our expenses are growing faster than our revenues, which is the reason why those deficits increase in the future years. The one thing I will say, though, is this forecast doesn't show the impact of ongoing balancing strategies that the city will adopt to close this coming year's budget gap. So every ongoing strategy you adopt to help balance fiscal year 27 benefits fiscal year 28, 29, and 30 as well. And again, this just shows that structural nature of the funding gap. It really is an issue of our expenses growing faster than our revenues. I also had a couple of requests. So what would it look like if we did get our HAP 7 allocation, kind of based on what we think we might get with the 50% reduction from HAP Round 6, and you can see that in the green line there. If we were able to get a similar proportion for similar uses, if we were able to get it in fiscal year 27, it would have a $6.4 million positive impact on the budget gap. But again, that's one-time funding, so we would need to make it up in the next year. And I said a lot of ifs in that statement, so there's a lot of uncertainty around it, which is why we're proposing leaving it out for now. As we talk with the state, we'll have better information when council's having its budget hearings in the spring. So how are we going to balance the budget? So council adopted a budget policy on October 7th. This was instructions for all of the departments to submit reduction plans up to 15% of general fund use, and really to hone in on what the impacts of adopting those strategies would be. And the purpose behind this is really to give council more options than the size of our problem. So you can see that, just the departmental targets total over 85 million for a $66 million funding gap. And we're also, as the finance team, looking at what I call citywide strategies. And these are, projects, debt service schedules, things like that, to give options for savings. So our guiding principles, really what we're looking to do is to define and preserve our core services and advance the priorities that you all have articulated as a council of economic development, addressing homelessness and public safety. We want to minimize, these are going to be really difficult decisions, but we want to minimize the impacts on the public. We deliver our services through people. We want to minimize the impact on those people delivering the services. And, as always, as we're going through this process, if council has other considerations, please let us know. As far as our budget development schedule, we went to budget and audit last week. We're at council right now talking about our mid-year update and the budget gap. In March, you're going to hear a series of presentations from the departments, and they are going to look very different than the departmental presentations you heard over the past couple of years. So instead of here are all the things we're doing as a department, these are really going to focus on what are the impacts of some of these reduction strategies that we're considering putting in the proposed budget? How are we aligning with council priorities? What does this mean for my department? What does this mean for the city? It will be much more budget focused. And we will start that with kind of a budget context for council. In April, by charter, we'll release a proposed balanced budget for council. In May, you'll have your formal hearings and June adoption. And again, we're trying to move up a lot of the discussions of what the options are, so council has more time to deliberate on them. This is just a more detailed kind of view of the upcoming calendar, and you can see when the hearings are and when those departmental presentations are. As far as our pending factors, these are the things that keep me up at night. We along with our budget deficits, we still have significant unfunded liabilities, both for pension and for capital and deferred maintenance. We don't know what the future of HAP funding is going to be. Our homelessness funding in our forecast is roughly $48 million. When we kind of started this up, we started it up with state funding, some other funding that we had, and now more and more of it has been picked up by the general fund. We still have federal funding risks. Those have not gone away. There's always the risk of a recession. And again, our budget deficit isn't due to, an economic slowdown. This is a structural deficit, and we need to, address that imbalance between expense growth and revenue growth. So we were also asked during budget adoption last year to bring to Budget and Audit Committee options for a 2-year budget. And Budget and Audit wanted to see how does it look once we had the gap. Let's talk then when we have some numbers we can actually put to it. So we had a little bit of a discussion about that last Tuesday and bringing it to council today. And really what we're looking at is, does council want to adopt a policy around the maximum deficit we could forecast for budget year +1? And so based on our latest forecast, we put some scenarios in there. So if council were to say, hey, the maximum budget deficit we could tolerate for fiscal year 28 is 1%, that would equate to a $9.3 million deficit in the forecast for fiscal year 28. And that means not only do we have to have all ongoing strategies to balance fiscal year 27, we'll need $6.3 million in additional reduction strategies to bring fiscal year 28 down within the deficit tolerance. So these are the different scenarios. A 5% deficit tolerance would be a $46 million deficit in fiscal year 28, and you would only need $35.2 million of ongoing strategies in fiscal year 27 to achieve that. So again, these are really things for council consideration. The policy choice here is, just how many ongoing reduction strategies do you want to adopt now versus using one-time strategies to buy some time. So that's really the policy call here. So as far as staff recommendations, we're recommending approval of those revenue and expense adjustments I talked about. I'll talk about that 7.7 million again right now. So as I mentioned earlier, we're in active negotiations with most of our labor groups. You can see we're forecast to finish very slightly positive in the current year. And so staff's recommendation is that we reserve this $7.7 million for any additional costs we might incur during these labor negotiations so that we can balance the current year. And if there's any excess beyond that, to use that to help balance the next year budget. And then, staff is really looking for direction about whether or not council wants to set any budget year +1 deficit tolerance. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Let's hear from our public comment first.
Perfect. We have two speakers on this agenda item. The first is Lambert, then John Vignocci.
I've been studying this structural deficit. This is a peculiar phrase to me. As a person that runs a business, my family would run me out of town if I said, hey, we're going to have a 5-year projection, no matter what, we're going to be in the red. That's not how it should be run. As I listen to this, it's almost as though you don't want homelessness to end. What if homelessness ends? Can you still balance your budget? That's a heck of a thing to depend on homeless money to balance your budget. I guarantee you, everybody on that rostrum, you do not run your finances, and that's your money. You do not run it like that, or you would be homeless with that kind of approach. Now, we were in the Bay Area for the Super Bowl, and the millennials taught me that you could go global without getting an ad. I had no idea that could happen. They did it. They made it where they said, okay, we know you don't have that kind of money, so we're going to go this way. And it was brilliant because they guided them to our website, and people have been calling me from all over the country, all over the world. They've been reaching out to us, seeing what do we want to do. That's called outside the box thinking. Shout out to the millennials. They did it last week. They did. But this structural deficit, that's why I'm a big fan of the city manager's report. I want to know, what does that cover? Let us know what's going on with the finances of this city.
Thank you for your comments. John?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, John Vignocchi, CEO of Region Business. Yeah, I think the city is kind of a microcosm of it's a reflection of what's happening with our state, too. I think I'm reading that we have about a $1.5 trillion unfunded pension liability issue at the state of California. So given that the state of California is in our front yard and backyard and side yards, I think it's incumbent on us to actually lead the way here. We can cut our way out of this. We can restructure the way that government works. We need to make bold policy decisions and not chase $5,000 checks from special interest groups and sell out the city's future. Ideas, so I'll start with one that personally impacts me, is the $3 million that we spend on the $0 impact fee program for affordable housing. We should probably reduce that to zero, and if we can create a surplus in the future, add that back, right? I think there is a pathway to have a $25–30 million surplus that can go to things like transportation funds and infrastructure and housing and individual investment dollars for your districts, right? But it requires making tough decisions that we've put off for the last 10 years. Things like increasing the cap on the CWTA. I think the federal minimum or federal require, like the Biden administration said $35 million is a good target. Ours is $1 million. You know, that adds millions of dollars to projects in our districts, like libraries and things. Why? I mean, there's still prevailing wage projects. Why is it? It's because we've given away stuff to certain interest groups. I mean, I don't want to beat around the bush anymore. We got to fight for the citizens and put our own political futures. Those are tough decisions we have to make. You know, it's not easy, comfortable thing coming up here. One thing that we can't cut is police and fire. I mean, we can definitely look for efficiencies. I'm sure there's new technologies and softwares that we can use and things to find efficiencies. We can't cut people. We should look at outsourcing more. We should look at becoming more of a managed service, managed competition provider. Thank you.
Mayor, I have no more public comments on this item.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Pete, for the presentation. You gave this presentation in budget and audit, so I've already commented on it. I won't go into depth, but I did want to say it was really helpful. One of the things that I appreciated was the clarification about the deficit projections. Yes, it's projected out in years because that we're being transparent about what would happen if we did nothing. But the reality is we're not going to do nothing. In fact, every year that we've had a deficit, we do something. One, because it's the right thing to do, but two, we are also required by law to balance our budget. So we are not going to carry a deficit. We will take what actions we need to take. And I think that's important to say because sometimes people see the graph on the screen and they think, oh my gosh, what do you mean they're going to be in the red for 5 years? We're not. But it does mean that we will have to make choices, just like we've had to make for several years. Actually, since the entire time I've been here. But we will do that, and that's our responsibility. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for us. I also really appreciate the framing around, comparing it to what it's like for an individual's budget. It helps me, and it's helped me as I've had conversations in the communities that I represent, where they're like, well, what do you mean? What is it? What do you mean a structural deficit? Does that mean you guys are just spending out of control and you're doing the wrong things? Well, no. It means that just like most people have a fixed income, they make X amount of dollars per month. There are things that are outside of their control. I'm sure many people are experiencing this right now. Your insurance costs go up. Yeah, same with us at the city. We're seeing our insurance costs increase. We see costs increase across the board, from everything from insurance to the cost of vehicles to employing folks, and those are things that are increased. Meanwhile, because folks are also experiencing the challenges of affordability, people are spending less. Well, that means that we have less in tax revenue, so you see less coming in, and you have increased costs. And so that's just one of the challenges that we're experiencing as a city, and we're not alone. It's happening all over the state and beyond. And so I just think that's important to say for context, for someone who might be like, why is this happening? That's in part. So some of the things that one, I'm really looking forward to seeing the reduction strategies. Did you say those are coming in March?
In March, yes.
Okay. I look forward to seeing those and having that menu of options. That was really helpful last time around for us to be able to see what's possible, what we can do, what the impacts will be, because every decision we make will have an impact, and so it's important that we know what those are. Some other things I've been thinking about are contracts. So, as the city, we contract for a variety of things in almost every department. I know that, I'm not sure if Brian Pedro is here, but our director of Department of Community Response recently undertook an effort to renegotiate some of the contracts in that department, did a wonderful job. And as a result, we were able to save money and continue on with the services that we need to do. I wonder if we should go on an effort like that through all of our departments. Are there contracts that we have in place that we haven't looked at in a really long time, that we decided on X price and maybe that doesn't work for us anymore? Would we be willing to budge on certain things? And so that's a bigger issue, obviously, in collaboration with Madam City Manager, but I think that would be a worthwhile effort in addition to the things that we've already identified. The other thing that I think that we should be taking a look at is where do we have opportunities using technology to save money? And so, for example, I'm thinking of code enforcement. This was brought up at another hearing that we had, but some jurisdictions are utilizing things like drones or other technology to be able to go out, like let's say you have something that's on a corner of the street somewhere in the city. Right now, we have to wait until a person is physically able to get into their car, drive, the long list, go there, take a picture, come back, file the paperwork. Is that something that we could do more easily? And and freeing that person up to do a lot of other work that they need to do. So that's just one example, but I wonder if there's other opportunities to use technology in our various departments. Well, yes, I know there's some upfront costs to some of those things that could probably save us money in the long run. And so, yes, those are a couple of things that I was thinking about. In addition, I support setting aside the $7.7 million as well for our contracts. We know that we're in negotiations and we want to take care of our employees, and so I think that's worthwhile to set aside. Other than that, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilmember Dickinson.
Thanks, Mayor. We did have a good, I think, review of this last week at the Budget and Audit, and a good conversation about it. There are just a couple things that I wanted to highlight, and really what is the first. We're not quite biting the apple yet. We're more sizing up the apple, I suppose, at this stage, at least for the council and the public, although the staff has certainly been hard at work for quite some time on this. So one of the things I would just take note of, and this is pretty clearly shown on the chart that's on page 3 of the staff report, that identifies the sources of income and expense, and notes that without counting any HAP funding in this year, the upcoming budget year, our shortfall would be over $36 million, almost $37 million. And that shortfall actually is well over half of our total shortfall for the city budget. Now, hopefully, this in part energizes us to work even more prodigiously with our state level delegation to seek funding out of this HAP cycle, and to return the HAP funding at least to $1 billion from the $500 million that is in the, if I recall, in the governor's budget. But it also demonstrates where we still need to focus, I think, attention, and where there are economies and efficiencies as well, to try and reduce that gap. And more generally, I would say that I think what the next budget year and the out years demonstrate as clearly as ever is that we are not going to ultimately return to a balanced budget based on cutting expenses solely, reducing services, or raising fees. We are going to have to invest in our economy. We're going to have to grow our local economy. And to me, again, that means looking at the strategies that help us realize economic gain, support and incentivize economic gain in the community. So I know we'll be talking about those kinds of strategies and issues as we go along, but I also think it's incumbent on us not to see this in a one-year context, but more in a intermediate and long-term context. The second thing I wanted to pause on was the request of the staff, based on what the council discussed last year, for some guidance with respect to looking for one-time versus ongoing cuts as an approach to balancing the budget. And we had a good exchange of views at the committee meeting on this. There were at least two, if not more, that support the idea of shooting for that 2% reduction. I, for my part, take a little bit more cautious. I guess I'd characterize it as a cautious point of view, of wanting to see how this continues to play out as we go through this process, because I would note, Steve, as you pointed out, Pete, we solved last year's budget gap half on ongoing, half on one time. To move to 2% is a significant amount of migration in the direction of of ongoing cuts. And before we wed ourselves to that as a target, I would simply express the feeling that it makes sense to see a little bit more of how things play out over the course of the spring. That doesn't mean that we ignore the fact that ultimately, absent significant economic growth, we're going to need to find more and more in the way of ongoing reductions. But as I said a moment ago, I don't think we need to make that declaration of a specific commitment at this stage. And I actually think that would be counterproductive for us in terms of weighing and considering our alternatives as the budget process continues throughout the spring. So with those comments, we have a resolution also that I believe we need to take action on tonight in order to provide the authority to make some of the adjustments that the staff report outlines and Pete has noted. So I would move that resolution.
Okay. Second, Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to echo a lot of what you heard from our budget chair, Councilmember Dickinson. And also want to hear a little bit more, because I think this also, while it's budget, a policy conversation we need to have around the Children's Fund. Because if we see, we can't accurately fully predict, but when we're signing on to CBO contracts for 3 years and there's dip in funding, what does that mean? Because CBOs and others can't just cut. And so how do we address that from a policy perspective? What does that mean? Do we put in place a shore up or like potential money that's one time based off of reallocation at the end of the year and maybe cap it at a certain amount? What does that look like? Would love to have a council conversation.
Sure, yeah, we can, because we're going to bring kind of the analysis, like what does our current situation mean for what we've already granted or committed to. The good news is, as you know, we had a little bit more time. Our 3-year cycle extends a little bit more, so we have a little bit of cushion there with our revenue collections. But we'll show that. But as part of that discussion, we can certainly have a discussion of, hey, do we want to only want to allocate a certain percentage, right? Or do we want to have a policy for how to reduce things? So we can definitely bring that in March when we come with budget
Thank
conversation.
you. I think the council would want to, just because all the time and energy, and you can't unwind 3-year contracts as easy as people think it might be. And then on the HAP funding, something I brought up to you, I think it's really important that we almost have a separated kind of budget. What are we spending on homelessness and unhoused? And where is the money coming from? Is it general fund? Is it grant funding? How much is going, to our providers, so that we as a city see as we're facing a structural deficit? And I think that goes to a bigger conversation that I hope we can have on the books, city manager, is where do we as a council want to go holistically on all of homelessness? If we have to cut, where is our return on investment? Where, if we're getting less money, it means we may not be able to afford this shelter or this motel hotel program. And I think we need to start having those conversations. But because it is such a priority for the city of Sacramento, and it's the #1 thing, I'm sure many of us here, that I think we need to have a separate conversation. And it could be, it's a budget 3-4 hour conversation of what do we on a council agree on? What do we disagree on? How does this, because this plays into the budget every year. When we look at what we want to do, we don't have the money to do what we really want to do, but what is working and what isn't working, I think we need to have that. And I don't always see that in the budget. I see, this much for this. But I think it behooves us to be a little bit more transparent with our community of where is the money actually going. So to the extent when you come forward with a budget, I'd really like to see a little bit more under homelessness. This is federal, state, local, coming from the general fund, designated funding. all of
Sure.
those programs.
And yeah, we're looking at some ways to kind of illustrate that when we do our budget framing on March 3rd, both kind of what's in the current budget, but also how did this develop, right? 10 years ago, we weren't putting general fund for these services, and now, it's roughly $48 million, and without HAP funding, that's going to be general fund. And so we want to kind of show how that's changed, how that state funding has declined, how the city has picked up more of that. And then I think some of that more kind of detailed discussion, Brian, when he comes up and presents for DCR, he can talk a little bit more about that. And, to Councilmember Maples' point, we're also looking at some of the efficiencies that him and his department have instituted and how they're actually going to help with the coming fiscal year 27 budget development. So we'll have kind of more detail on that in March. And one of the things we were hoping, because we heard from council, hey, department presentations are great, but we want to have the budget conversation. And so we want to have these more focused presentations and give council the opportunity to have that discussion.
Because I think it's a bit of a misnomer when we look at, hey, every department has to reduce 15%. Well, DCR, homelessness is holistically all over the city. So I think that bears almost a separate conversation in and of itself, because it's embedded in our police and our fire and DCR and code and public works and utilities. What does that look like and what does it impact? Because that is what we get questions on every day in our council offices. What are you doing? I don't see a change. You cleaned it up, they're back. Why are you spending, $60,000 a bed or $700,000 for permanent supportive housing? What are we getting? And the data kind of needs to be wrapped in when we make these budget cuts. I'm really looking for data of what is working, what is not working as we go there. So thank you for that. And then, I've been harping ever since I got on council for looking at the budget for not approving a 2-year budget cycle, but looking as the forecast for 2 years and not only balancing current year, but getting close to balancing 1 year out. We all know the budget is a living document and it fluctuates, as you've seen here, with the money that flows through, but not addressing the out-year structural deficit. I mean, this is going into our 4th budget year of just continuing to cut, and it's cut by, we're cutting by 1,000 micro cuts, which I think is having a bigger impact and uncertainty for our staff and for the city. And then one of the things I'm really hoping we get to see is what are our economic development opportunities, because that was a council adopted priority. What are we looking at? Because we cannot cut our way out of our structural deficit. What are we doing to grow? How are we looking at Old Sacramento? How are we looking at redevelopment? How are we looking at economic incentives that we know through Visit Sacramento are drivers in our economy, and how are we investing in that? Because you look at what they're doing in surrounding cities and they're doing better than we are. So how can we understand that economic development needs to be a bigger portion of how we see this city? And I think it was a big mistake that we are not continuing and having the conversation of right-sizing the business operating tax that has been the same in the city of Sacramento since 1991. We talk about corporations paying their fair share when Walmart's paying $5,000 a year in our cannabis industry. Some of them are paying $1 million a year. That's not right-sized for me, and not having that on the ballot where we look at some of our top grossing corporations and have them pay what surrounding jurisdictions are paying. I think we've left $8 to $10 million on the table. And here's the thing, if we do it the right way, it's a cut to small businesses. We can do structured tax where it's a break for our grocery stores and our restaurants, which don't have a lot of return on investment, and their profit is not as high as some of these other corporations. We talk about these things, but I think these are the conversations we really missed that should have been on the ballot this year. But thank you for what you're doing. I know we have hard conversations forthcoming, but appreciate it, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a council retreat at the Safe Convention Center, and we were very clear that this mayor and council's priorities were public safety, economic development, and housing and homelessness. So as you come forward with the adoption of the budget and where we're doing 15% cuts and talking to our various departments, I hope that it comes back prepared for us with our council priorities at the very top, letting everybody know that these are our priorities and this is how our budget reflects our priorities. In addition, I also wanted to make sure, well, I said this at budget and audit, but we have a lot of dollars that we can't touch. They're non-negotiables, our unfunded liabilities, our pensions. There's various dollars that we just cannot touch because they are locked in. I want them separated from the budget so that people understand the full picture of how much money we're actually working with as the city of Sacramento. So those are my two main requests.
Yeah, and when we come on March 3rd, you're going to see in some of the charts on how we break down the budget, some of those things you mentioned, our unfunded liabilities, our OPEB, our debt service, risk fund, workers' comp, all of those, you know, even if we shut down the city, we still have to pay those things. So we are going to separate those out so that the public can see them.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to add a little bit of flavor to this tonight. So this is, I know we don't have a 2-year budget, but we do have a reconciliation mid-year. So we do have a couple bites of the apple. So this is what we're doing tonight. And so I do support this action. I think it's sound to, on prior years, you have some savings. Let's use these to expand the library in North Sacramento or address our deferred maintenance at our fire stations down in Meadowview or, Tahoe Park and so forth. But we don't have that luxury here. And so using it for our core general fund support services and addressing our employee compensation issues is key. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people say, yes, you should balance your budget and, focus on having a great austerity budget and make tough decisions. But that impacts people's lives. We heard 4 hours ago about the fire department and what's an impact when there was a big fire in Rogers District a couple days ago, and they had 6 crews there at the old bank building, and having multiple brownouts would have a serious impact. And laying off police officers like we did, and I had to a horrible vote right over there 13 years ago, we laid off, I think, 50 police officers. And that impacts services, response time. So it's easy to say, yes, we should have it all in the out years balance out at 0. But the flip side of those are huge impacts to communities. Swimming pools be shut down. We'll come mow the lawn at Land Park every 17 days as opposed to every 8 days. And so all these things are real world impacts on our lives. City tree services, code enforcement on that. So we need to be very, very careful here and work with a scalpel and focus on year by year to minimize the impact of our people that sent us here to City Hall. So I'm 100% accord there. But that being said, I think we do need to lay it all out in a different way than we did last year. I asked the city manager and our city budget team, this is kind of for the council here and the public, to just focus on scenarios. Where the revenues come from. As Councilmember Kaplan said, federal or state, and what's at stake. If we, got rid of these services, these programs, what it would mean. If you had a budget that had, no impact to public safety, what would that look like over there? And so I'm asking our city staff to, in great detail, lay out all these scenarios so we have an eyes wide open perspective when we finalize our budget process in the spring. And then I know we did postpone the economic development workshop with the council. Not only was that our top priority, but it's something that I think we need to spend more time doing, not just the marquee projects in our districts, like Aggie Square or the rail yards, and we're looking at south part of Sacramento there and 102 acres up in North of Thomas with Innovation, what's it called? Innovation Park. But our tools that we have, because doing that, not only is it exciting for our districts and our city, but it's going to, impact these decisions in the future and hopefully have to make less tough decisions when we have more revenues coming into the city. So that's a big piece of the picture. And just want to note that I think all the council members know this, but it's the top priority of, the big cities, including Sacramento, when we go talk to the governor and our state leaders, is to get ongoing money. And all these candidates for governor are calling me as your mayor and saying, hey, and I'm saying, hey, where do you stand on ongoing support? Because our guy, Pete, wants to make sure that this is where I draw my line in the sand. So we want $1 billion ongoing. So I'm confident that we're going to be successful in ongoing, because this isn't a problem that has gone away. So again, this tonight is reconciling the mid-year adjustments and putting that $7.7 million to appropriate use for the city of Sacramento. And this is just the beginning, and we'll be back. So with that, we have a motion and a second. No more comment from council members or questions. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none. Item passes 9-0. Next item.
Mayor, we move to council comments, ideas, questions, and AB 1, 2, 3 reports, and then I have 13 speakers for public comments, matters not on the agenda.
Okay, please begin. Councilmember Dickinson.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to mention a couple things that are going on in District 2 and environs. Consonant with Black History Month, there are some events that are very special occurring coming up a little later this month, but on the 18th at 3 p.m. at an Arcade Community Center, we have Black Inventions and Education, a session on that. On the 24th, also at 3 at the Firehouse Community Center that some of you are familiar with, roughly at Grand and Rio Linda Boulevard, African Dance and Cultural Expression. And then on the 27th at the Robertson Community Center on Norwood, again at 3 p.m., Cooking from the Earth. So this, as we noted earlier this evening, may get attention tonight, but it gets attention all month long. It deserves attention all year long, but there's some very special events occurring as part of this month for Black History Month. There's also, for those of you who are in the mood on Valentine's Day, I see a smile.
I love Valentine's Day.
A Valentine's Day concert to support the Southside Park Mural Mural Project. That's going to be Saturday from 6 to 9, 1019 Del Paso Boulevard. Councilmember Guerra is also a sponsor of the event, along with the Vida del Oro Foundation. So grab your Valentine or 2 or 3 and come support the mural and have a good time. Then on the 21st, at Neverboard, which is also on Del Paso Boulevard, in the evening, there will be a special arts exhibition from 5 to 7 called Toy Room. So that's going to be another very special event. And then finally, I wanted to mention, for those of you who have energy left over from Valentine's Day and the 21st, you can come out and plant some trees on the 28th on the Sacramento Northern Bike Trail at Altos and Eleanor. We'll all be meeting at 9 a.m. to continue tree planting on the bike trail and make it even better and better and better than it already is. So thanks, Mayor, and I hope to see everybody joining us for all these occasions throughout the month.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. Valentine's Day, I think it's a time to not only for a little love, but planting some trees. So from 9 a.m. to noon at Elderberry Park in Natomas, come out, adopt a tree, plant it, name it after a special loved one, and know that you have a place to go and visit our parks and watch your tree grow. It's a great way to give back to the community, and look forward to seeing everyone there. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Maple.
All right. In honor of Black History Month, our very own 40 Acres in Oak Park is hosting a long series of events. I'm looking at this piece of paper and I see no less than 20 events, so I'm not going to list them all off. But I do want to name just a few and want to say that if you want to find all of these events, you can go online on the website. You can go to the Guild Theater website. You can go to 40 Acres. You can go to St. Hope. But they do have a walking tour that's coming up this Wednesday, which is tomorrow. At noon. So if you've ever had the opportunity to go to Oak Park, it's our oldest established neighborhood in Sacramento, and it's got some wonderful, wonderful resources there. So come join them for the walking tour. They also have a film series. The next one is this Thursday, Juneteenth, Faith and Freedom. That's at 6 p.m. at the Guild Theater. They have several others. So I will be sharing these on our social media and our newsletter. So please come by at any of these events in celebration of Black History Month. Thank you.
All right, next. My monthly open office hours are back for the 2026 year, and so every month I host open office hours at Donuts and Coffee between 9 and 10, so I invite my community to join me. It's a lot of fun. We do city updates, questions, and then happy thoughts, happy announcements, and it's a great time. So I just want to wish everybody happy Valentine's Day, Feliz Dia del Amor y Amistad, and yeah, go plant some trees and go listen to some music at Southside Park.
Councilmember Vang.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a few comments since this is just open comments from council members. One, I wanted to take this moment just to thank my colleagues from the Law and Ledge Committee this morning for voting to approve the resolution to prohibit ICE activities on city properties, and just wanting to urge that we bring this item to council as soon as possible so that the city manager and her team can move quickly on implementation. Additionally, 2 weeks ago, we reaffirmed our commitment to freedom of speech around the Moss building through the immigration platform. And I know earlier today we heard from community members, and it was mentioned that there was a ceremonial teepee that was removed from the street in the surrounding area around the Moss building in District 4. And I know that some of the advocates and folks impacted had reached out to our office. And while it's not my district, for me, it's still really important because 2 weeks ago we reaffirmed our commitment to freedom of speech. And I just want to make sure that we are upholding that commitment. And so I just like to ask the city manager, and I don't think she can respond here, but to do a follow-up to council and also community members who were impacted by the removal. In particular, I want to understand the circumstance surrounding the removal of materials by SAC PD, including how the decision was made and what city or departmental policies and procedure inform that action. Secondly, how was this communicated to residents and demonstrators? I think that's important. And when the decision was made to remove, did we provide demonstrator direction on how to actually recover their materials? I'm asking these questions because I just think it's really important that we have clarity for residents and advocates. And I think a big part of the work that we do in our immigration platform and the work that we have ahead is we have to build trust with community, and a big part of that really depends on clarity, protection, and accountability. And so I just wanted to name that, and if the city manager can just follow up to answer those questions so that we can relay that to the advocates and to the demonstrators so that I have a clear understanding of what happened. And so I wanted to put that on record. Okay.
Thank you.
So Mayor, I have
Public comments.
18 speakers. Also, I'll read off a few. Lambert, Graham Falocco, Silas Schauer, Aaron Reading, Fago, Karen Corbs.
I have some ideas that could make the city get into black. As a native, I want to see this city get into black. Recently, some people showed me that California is the 4th largest economy in the world, not the United States, in the world. And so what does that mean to me as a native? How can it be the 4th largest economy in the world and be in a deficit? Something doesn't match. Also, we're going to push for an audit to find out how many city employees are working remotely. Because once we find that out, then we know all you have to do is freeze their salaries. You don't have to lay them off, but I guarantee you, you do not spend the type of money you spend to come to work versus staying at home. There's no way you spend that much money. So why get a raise? Also, you spoke about Black history and African American. I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference between an African American and a Black person and a Negro? It's very confusing to the youth. They ask me that all the time, and I said it's a trick. You know, it's a deception to keep you weak mentally. You must stay alert, I tell them at all times, because there's a word that I'm teaching them called tricknology. And that's the art of deception. And it's a lot of deception at City Hall. Looking at this agenda, and I'm really emphasizing this to the city manager. I am a native. I want to hear the city manager's report. There's 6 city managers. I want to hear that report.
Graham?
Thank you.
Thank you to Ms. Wang for recognizing the significance of what happened at the John Moss Building. I'm a protester there who's been there pretty frequently. In the last 2 weeks, I've been there almost every single day, just seeing what's happening with ICE and knowing that we were going to have a ceremony. I wanted to help set that up, and I wanted to help my Native siblings who came over to help us, to help see what was going on. And I can actually answer a couple of Ms. Vang's questions. I'm so sorry. On the 4th, police officers came on their bikes. I was there. I was present. I watched this happen. There was 2 officers. I unfortunately do not know their names. We do have somebody with their names. And they told us that there was a request to take our TP down. The person who was performing our ceremonies told them, we are in a 4-day ceremony. This is a protected act. That night, we printed out the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, and we put it on the sides of the teepee. One of our members painted it large enough that you could read it from the street. When we called, when the owner of the teepee called, after the bones of her teepee were broken, which if you don't know anything about Native American culture, the bones of the teepee represent the grandmother. The owners were not given enough time to explain how to take their religious home down. Now, there are 3 codes that have been broken. California codes. PRC 5097.9, this protects the religious exercise and sacred sites on public land. HNS code 8010, and if I'm pronouncing these things wrong, I'm sorry, I'm not a professional. This protects against cultural items and sacred objects being improperly taken. 42 U.S.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete.
Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is
please.
Silas
Next speaker,
Scheuer.
thank you.
Silas. Following Silas is Aaron Reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Silas Schauer. I'm a parent of a student at St. Patrick Academy, and I'm here with a number of other families from St. Patrick's Academy. A little bit about why we're here. My son Ian has been at the school for a little over a year. He struggled with some other schools, and he went and had a shadow day there. And after one day, he told me, Dad, this would be the best gift you could ever give me to let me come to the school, and it's been a wonderful place of growth for him. It's a school that's been serving children in South Sacramento for over 90 years. And we're here because we recently got the devastating news from the Catholic Diocese that they're going to be shutting down the 3 South Sacramento schools with the proposal to open one regional school where there would be 35 to 40 students per class, with a plan that's very opaque, where we haven't been given a lot of information. And we're very concerned about losing this incredible asset and community that we have. And we understand that the city does not tell the diocese what to do. I think our ask is to really support us in having a more constructive dialogue to get a better understanding of what's going to happen, to open up some opportunities to explore alternatives. We really, this is a strong community here. We really work together. We really want to put our efforts in to support our community, our neighborhood, our families. We feel like we've been facing a lot of obstacles, and we just ask for support, for awareness as we work to really support our kids and continue this really vital mission. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Aaron Reading.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Reading, and I'm a parent at St. Patrick Academy. I'm here today to ask the city to intervene and halt the closure and forced consolidation of St. Patrick Academy and St. Charles Borromeo School. I intend to place facts on the public record and request transparency before irreversible harm is done to children, families, and the broader community. The Diocese of Sacramento has announced plans to close St. Patrick Academy and St. Charles Borromeo School, displacing roughly 300 students. Families were informed late in the process, leaving parents scrambling to find new schools for their children for the upcoming school year. At the same time, a major capital investment was made to St. Robert's School for a renovation that was for their gymnasium, not for any type of expansion to the campus to accommodate the consolidation. Last night, in response to media pressure, the diocese released enrollment decline figures to justify consolidation. Those figures use different peak years for each school, stretching back as far as 2012 for some campuses, while St. Robert decline was measured out since 2021. The decline for St. Patrick is drastically less if you look at the time frame than what the diocese is telling us. There appears to be a recurring pattern in Catholic school systems where large donor restricted foundations gift and are paired with construction contracts awarded to affiliated donors or construction firms, often without competitive bidding. While presented as philanthropy, this structure can function as a closed-loop arrangement that concentrates decision-making, power shields selected schools from consolidation, and undermines transparency, equity, and across the diocese. What we're asking today is some transparency. We want to see the procurement policy that governed the recent capital renovation, documentation of competitive bids or written justification for any sole source contracting, and a clear timeline showing when consolidation decisions were made to any capital expenditure.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Fago, then Karen Corbs, then Danielle Wood.
Hello again, Council. I want to thank Mai Vang for her leadership in trying to work with us about the free speech zone and making sure to have the request for the city manager. We had been working on that TP. It was an art project as well as a ceremonial religious artifact for the indigenous Americans that were present there performing a religious ceremony. It was a 4-day ceremony of healing, not just for the people at the protest, but for the people being harmed by ICE every day, including the Lakota and Dakota Sioux in Minnesota that are being taken by ICE currently. So under city policy, even though this was not a camping thing, this was a religious ceremony, the code being used to violate the rights of our indigenous brothers and sisters was the camping ordinance that's usually used against the homeless. However, it's not even following the city policy on that, because even for a homeless person's encampment, you're supposed to put a 48-hour notice on their tent in writing prior to confiscating it. That wasn't even a luxury awarded to this religious ceremony. The person leading the ceremony during the morning was pulled out of the teepee and arrested, along with 4 other participants in a religious ceremony. This is not acceptable. It not only violates state codes, it violates religious codes, treaties, and so many other things. In the process, the teepee was also damaged and is now being held as evidence. Evidence of what? Practicing a religious ceremony? We made sure that, yes, we create a small little buffer zone because sometimes people don't drive the safest and we have a large crowd there. We make sure that there's plenty of lanes open and available, so they can't even use that excuse. So please, those of you who haven't looked into this yet, I know some of you actually do care and have been looking into it, but to the rest of you, please understand that this isn't just about homelessness or anything. It's about people's religious freedoms and the
Thank you for your comments. Karen Corbs, then Danielle Wood.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, City Manager. I'm here this evening speaking on behalf of myself and not the Sacramento Police Commission. So I'm here once again to talk about public safety, and thank you to Councilmember Talamentes for talking about your 3 top priorities as a council, and that public safety was on the top of that list. Public safety must be the city's top priority. If people don't feel safe in Sacramento, nothing else truly matters. As you know, a city's most fundamental responsibility is providing core services, and public safety is the top of that list. When I was here a month ago, I shared that since 2012, Sacramento is down 170 officers, but our population has grown 70,000 residents, by 70,000 residents. I don't think this comes as a surprise, but the result is obvious. Our police department is understaffed, stretched thin, and overworked. If we are serious about filling vacancies, we must work in true partnership with the police chief on a strong, aggressive recruitment strategy that requires leadership from the mayor, the city manager, and this council, speaking with one unified voice. We need to send a clear message to young men and women considering law enforcement careers that Sacramento values you, supports you, and is a city where you can build a future. We also need to bring back critical specialized units like narcotics and gangs. Restoring these units and supporting recruitment will make Sacramento competitive with our neighboring law enforcement agencies. Our residents deserve a police department that is properly staffed, trained, and well-equipped to do its job. And finally, if we want a healthy business climate, especially in the downtown corridor, people must feel safe walking around. Public safety is the foundation of economic vitality. Once safety is restored, growth and investment will follow. I thank you for your time.
Next speaker is Danielle Wood, then Brian Powers, then Zari Ragasa.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. It's really good to see some of your faces that I voted for here face to face, so I appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Vang, for making me so proud for voting for you and bringing you in. I appreciate it. So I just wanted to make a couple of things aware to the City Council. I didn't know if you guys were aware or not. I'm a parent at St. Patrick's Academy. You guys have already heard that there's a consolidation happening between the 3 schools. I just want to talk to you about how it's going to impact the city. I think that's the important part here for you guys. So St. Patrick's, I actually grew up off of Franklin Boulevard when I was a kid. I went to school there. There's a little street called St. Joseph Drive. It's my neighborhood. And I'm very proud of that area, and I'm very happy of all the work that's being done on it right now, so I wanted to thank you for that as well. That school actually really was a foundational part of Franklin Boulevard. It really helps elevate that neighborhood significantly. For that area to go out is going to have a dramatic impact on that area. As we all know, we're all trying to lift up Franklin Boulevard, as you guys have with the recent infrastructure that you've put into it. So that's something that's going to negatively impact that predominantly Hispanic area. Additionally, with past patterns of the diocese, it's likely that they're going to sell these areas. And St. Patrick's Academy is actually a school that is 94 years old. It's a deep historical site. I remember visiting it as a small child there, and I'm now 46 years old. Don't tell anyone. The other thing is that this new regional school that they're going to do at St. Robert's, it actually stands on 4 acres alone. St. Patrick's, that school that's on Franklin Boulevard, it has 37.6 acres. It has area and infrastructure to be able to hold 300-400 children. So it is already considered a regional school by the diocese. So there's no reason.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Brian Powers, then Zari Ragasa.
Brian Powers, District 7. I'm here for the second time in a month to again support the Sacramento Police Department and public safety in the city of Sacramento. I'm here because I feel we're at a point where we may be about to lose control of public safety. I was recently involved in a conversation with a Sacramento police officer who told me that morale in the department is currently extremely low as it's ever been. I'll use my own words to characterize what the officer said. The officer said this is due to several factors. First, police officers in Sacramento are stretched too thin due to a severe shortage of officers because of the budget problems. Second, a generally negative characterization of their actions in the local media, which portray bad outcomes as if the officers are to blame for the circumstances and backgrounds of individuals who get hurt or killed because of their unlawful actions and the need for police intervention. Third, a lack of support from the public and our local elected officials. This officer said there are many other police agencies where the job is much easier because of the support of the public and elected officials. I believe in the next round of budget discussions, the police department budget should not be cut any further at all. Not officers, not funding. And I know this is going to be difficult. Other departments will definitely suffer. It's unavoidable. And in my opinion, this is due to mistakes made by the previous council, but you're faced with it and you're going to have to make those hard decisions. The mayor said these cuts do impact real people. That's true. Any further cuts to the police department will be the greatest impact of any cuts you may have to consider. And please, from the dais, in the media, support the police department vocally and publicly. It's not done enough. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Zari. Calling Zari is Stacy Murphy.
Hello, I'm I'm speaking in regards of my residence, which is the Sacramento Manor, and which is run by CCI, California Commercial Investments. I just got fired like about a week ago, but prior to that, when they state additional verbal written abuses, residents, members, CCI staff, and tolerated sexual harassment and discrimination, I think that was affected me by as I got fired. You gotta please forgive me because this is the first time I've ever spoken. But yeah, I moved in on the 23rd, 2023, and then I got hired to work on in the resident area as a key holder. And then I was threatened on 2024. My life was threatened. Wrote up a police report, had them come out to pick up the gentleman that threatened me. Well, the company didn't do anything about it. And they only got rid of him because he didn't pay his rent. And I also was employed at that time. And then 2025, verbal sexual harassment. I also took that up with CCI, and they just threw that under the rug as well. And they didn't get rid of him either until he was stealing from the company. And I'm just saying that they let me go by stating that there's a person that's in the audience that lives in the residence, was walking with me at night to lock up the premises because we have prostitution, we have drug dealing, and a lot of stuff that goes on there. When I was hired there, they said there was 2 people to work together at night. But unfortunately, that never happened. So my security, as far as my security, it was the residents that would volunteer to walk with me. So I am no longer with a job because of that. And so they have 100.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Stacy Murphy, then Reginald Ashley.
Hi. Senior Lives Matter. I'm from the Sacramento Manor for seniors. We have been abused. We have been treated badly over there. They have lied on us. They have, what broke the camel's back tonight was on our Black History. We're going to have Black History set for February the 6th. They shut us down. They shut us down for that. They shut us down for Valentine's Day. They shut us down for the Super Bowl. This is something we have done every year. I've done it for, like 11 years. They have said all kind of terrible things against us. They lied. And Ms. Vang has been there, and we're tired. We have been abused. Dope dealers, people coming through our windows. All the terrible things that they do. They set fires to our porches. They smoke dope in our garbage areas. They steal our carts. They steal our bikes. They're hurting us. And we keep telling CCI this, CCI, but they do nothing about it. But they claim that they're going through this thing with the police department. We started with the police department. We made them get up off their tails to help do something, but they're still not doing anything. Right now, I'm under attack over there. They said they're doing an investigation on me because I'm speaking up for the people. They're doing an investigation on me because they said that I did some past stuff that happened back on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve? Well, this is February 6th. Why are you waiting so long to get me? Why are you doing this? Why are you threatening me? Why are you sending me letters to my house?
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Stacy Murphy, then Reginald Ashley. Is Stacy here? Oh, I'm sorry, Stacy. Reginald Ashley, Stephanie Lambert, Kat Carell.
Okay, my name is Reginald Ashley, and I'm in Ms. Vang's area. Moved into the Sacramento Manor, thinking that this will probably be the last move of my lifetime, so we're trying to set it up and being as happy as we possibly can be. We're having problems with this CCI. They're saying that my team and I work every day to ensure Sacramento Manor is an open, inclusive, and caring community where everyone feels welcome. Our community rules, which you signed at Move In, and other policies are designed to ensure that everyone can enjoy living and working in their environment. Well, personally, for me, I had asked a young lady, or excuse me, this older woman to move out of our assigned parking spaces that we pay for. She didn't like that. And so in turn, she turned around and referred to me as a nigger on several occasions. I took that incident to the office, made an incident report, got photos of the woman, this caretaker, as well as the license number and the description of her car. Because if she's going to talk to me that way and she's supposedly a caretaker, she's going to some of the other clients' houses. I'd hate to see how she abuses them. But nevertheless, they're talking about how they're trying to make it a safe environment, and this happened on 10/28 of 25, and not a single thing has been done. They've also we've also had a tremendous problem with a drug dealer, a known drug dealer, that came in after we moved in. It took about 8 or 9 months for us to get him out, not so much the CCI, but us, because they couldn't figure out.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Stephanie Lambert. I have 7 more speakers.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Lambert, and I'm going to piggyback off what my fiance was just saying. We originally moved in April of last year. Immediately, we started having a bunch of drug trafficking happening in the apartment right next door to us. We then dipped into our pockets and purchased string so that we could get the traffic that was going in and out. And if we saw it going on, then I was keeping it live so that we could get recorded, verbal and video of what was transpiring. At that time, we found out later, I should go back to, that CCI supposedly invested $150,000 on security cameras. But they proceeded to attack me, or not attack me, but ask me to keep sending my Ring videos on these situations. Nothing was ever done. We contacted the police. The police said that they had to do, a trespass, a letter of trespassing on the individuals. Still nothing was done. Go back to see the police saying no, they need to do this. CCI would not step further with it. So the only way that situation ended up being taken care of was the drug dealer that was running the drugs through the apartment next to us ended up passing away. And one of the companies with housing picked up the client that lived in the apartment and transported him or moved him into another facility. Also, in regards to the event that we had planned, and we worked hard because we all here sit on our community to keep events going because we are seniors and we live in a community for a reason and we reach out to each other and we have fun in that they chose.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Kat Carell, then Jarrett Hill, then Carlos Ramirez.
Good evening, council members. My name is Kat Carell, and I live at Sacramento Manor, located near 24th Street and Florin Road. Sacramento Manor is a senior residence of about 260 units with a predominantly black population. For years, a group of us have put on events for the residents, including a celebration of Black History Month. We put out a calendar at the start of the month on which we list our events, and often also we put out specific flyers for an event, as we did for our Black History Month celebration. This year, our Black History celebration was scheduled for last Friday, February the 6th, 5 to 8 p.m. in our clubhouse. Sometime during that very day, Timothy Eversole, property manager at Sacramento Manor, decided he would ban the event. He didn't say why. He just said, it ain't gonna happen. I'm property manager, and I'm here to stay. Well, in the afternoon, our group posted a notice on several places on the clubhouse protesting this ban as racism. In retaliation, Timothy then kicked everyone out of the clubhouse, including disabled seniors, even though it was still time when the posted hours said that the clubhouse was open. Mind you, it is the clubhouse where we seniors come to socialize with one another because our individual units are small. Timothy's retribution and harassment of us for protesting this racism did not stop there. He also banned the Super Bowl party scheduled for Sunday, February the 10th, and our Valentine's Day party scheduled for February 14th. He never gave any reason or notification as to why he did this. We object to Sacramento's blatant racism, as well as its retaliation against and harassment of us for engaging in peaceful protest and for enjoying our First Amendment rights of protest. We are contacting very...
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Jarrett Hill, then Carlos Ramirez.
Good evening, Council. I'm Jarrett Hill, partner, president, Depot 420, core dispensary opportunist. Here again tonight in regards to our request for an extension of time to open up our dispensary. We are faced with an April 1st deadline, and we've made multiple requests to have this item called up to this panel for consideration of an extension of time for us to finish this project. Obviously, most of you already know that our project burnt down in District 2. We now have a location in District 1. Ms. Kaplan, we look forward to speaking with you directly, have been in contact with Austin and Jasmine about getting scheduled. Mr. Dickinson, thank you for coming out to meet with us at Sammy's there. Great conversation. Hopefully you got a greater insight into who we are and what our capabilities are and our current state. Ms. Smith, as told to us through Councilmember Maple, we still look forward to hearing from you about getting scheduled or getting this on the agenda as soon as possible, because obviously this is time sensitive ahead of this April 1st deadline that we ultimately feel is arbitrary. You know, no other modality of cannabis has a timeline put on it to open up for business, and we've been faced with things that are out of our control. But we're close, and so we need additional time to, so let's help us figure this out, and I'll try to find your email, or if you can give it to me, that'd be great. Lastly, to demonstrate our commitment, we're willing to put up a bond in the amount of $50,000 to the city, and that will be payable to the core program should we fail to get open as we've been committed to do. So please.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Carlos Ramirez, then Henry Ortiz.
Good evening, members of the council, mayor. I'm here in support of my colleague Jarrett's request for an extension to his core licensing opportunity. Before I go on to introduce myself, my name is Carlos Ramirez. I serve as legal counsel and head of regulatory compliance for Green Capital Investments. It's a vertically integrated cannabis company that holds 8 licenses here in the city of Sacramento. I oversee all of those licenses. Recently, we partnered with Jarrett to help bring his plan to fruition. However, the timeline is simply unobtainable. We have secured a location that has an approved CUP for a retail dispensary. I've started working on the minor modification for the BOP as well as, for the CUP. I've also started the application for the BOP as well as the state license. We met with OCM and discussed our plan. However, they advised us that based on the timeline, we just wouldn't be able to make it. And based on my experience, I also agree, which is why I think that a 12-month extension to Jarrett's core licensing opportunity is warranted. Like I mentioned, we have a property that has an approved CUP for a storefront dispensary. In fact, it's a property that GCI owns. So in that regard, we control our own destiny. I have experience already obtaining BOPs, state licenses, so we're ready to get this plan moving quickly and efficiently, despite all of the setbacks that Jarrett has experienced. So again, I'd also like to ask the council for that 12-month extension, and like he mentioned, we're willing to put up a bond to show our good faith and assure that we get it done right this time.
Thank you for your comments. I have 3 more speakers. The next is Henry Ortiz, then Jim Randlett.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor, well, he's Vice Mayor. I'm here on behalf of our Native community from the Lakota Nation who came out here to support and honor the victims that have been killed, especially starting December 31st all through January. Every 3rd day they were killing somebody. ICE is really getting heavy-handed, out of control. They were sent out here by the elders to tell the legislators at the Capitol that they feel like fuck guys, right, with respect, right, excuse my language. But the real issue here is for us to be able to get that teepee. Mr. Phil, it's in your district. If you can support us, I'll get your card from you. If you can, if it's within your heart, Ma Vane, thank you for bringing it up. It's not fair that you have to bring it up because it's not even in your district, but that's how much confidence we have in you, right? I remember when I first met you when you were running, a lot of y'all, when y'all were first running, you know, I seen the desire and the drive. Last time I was here, we spoke about it, supporting immigration communities. Let's show that by helping this Native community. That teepee has been passed down for 3 generations, so it's very sacred to them. It's a big disrespect for them to come do a ceremony of healing. They were criminalized, and there will be litigation to Sacramento PD and any other findings. Also, the ICE detention center, they disrespected a little vigil that we did for these victims. So our protesters are there to do peaceful engagements, practicing freedom of expression and religion, First Amendment rights, the Fourth Amendment rights, seizure and destruction, due process violations were done here, equal protection and discrimination, federal Native religious freedom of protections. We got wrongful arrest, excessive force. We also got civil rights statutes and tort claims. You know, I'll leave it at that because I'm out of time, but help us if you can, Mr. Phil. We're relying on you, the mayor, Mr. Kevin. You know who I am, and I know who you are. Help us.
Next speaker is Jim Randlett, then John Vignoci will be our final speaker this evening.
Good evening. I'm Jim Randlett. I live in Mr. Jennings' district. It's good to see him, and of course, in the mayor's district as well. I've handed out this piece of paper with the bright color and hopefully with the alarming heading on it, talking about how bad the math is on homeless. And the council has done a nice job of getting the price down from $400,000 to $500,000 a unit to $85,000 a unit. But as you can see by the math there, that still leaves a $260 million deficit in what you need to have a spot for every homeless person. Now, the numbers may change because of the count that's going on or just had gone on, and the results will come in. But even at the half, and this is a city figure for the unsheltered homeless, even half, that's $130 million. So the point is, You've got to have different approaches. It's not good enough at $85,000 a unit to try to have a spot for the homeless. So I've got, in the third paragraph there, I've got a suggested motion for the council to entertain to direct the staff to come up with some very low-cost alternatives as opposed to the more expensive alternatives. And I was very pleased to hear that in March, apparently, the department will be coming to you and talk about new ways of doing things. And I'm running out of time. So, but in every enterprise where it's failing, which the response to homeless is doing in Sacramento, you have to come up with a new approach. And I've got one in here, which is the middle of this, where you can move a homeless person to a vacant lot. They have the same space, give them a porta potty, and they're better off because they've got a place to go to the bathroom and a place to get community services. So please entertain this thought. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. John is our final speaker this evening.
Hi again. You know my name by now. Third time's a charm. Last night, I was at night when I need to unwind from my day of being an aggressive, overbearing jerk. I go on a walk around Alkali Flats, Mansion Flats, where I have a couple projects under construction. And so I'm walking down 15th Street, and I see this guy. It's like 10 p.m. on his bike going down the alley. And I'm like, that's weird because the alley's closed because we're doing construction. And I met this gentleman. His name is Logan. He's 23. And he was telling me his life story. He got kicked out of the house when he was 16 for drugs. And he was telling me, like, yeah, you know, life has changed now. Like, the two priors, and I've had, you know, used to just be able to walk into Target and steal what I needed to use drugs and come out. And I was like, oh, you're talking about Prop 36. And he's like, yeah, my parole officer, this. And so I was like, you know, getting his whole life story and about how laws have changed. And now he has consequences. And now he's going back to working with his dad in the trades. And he has skills as an electrician and a laborer. And I was like really impressed. So we swapped numbers, trying to find the guy some work or something. But the point of me telling you this is that we have the tools now to solve a lot of the issues that we see. I think some of you were in Morelia. I was with one of your travel compadres having mezcal in between the 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. And he was talking about how great the fireworks were and how clean and safe everything was. You know, we can have that here too, right? We have the tools, we have the officers. If we just get their backs, they just feel supported, right? They have tough jobs, just like you. You have tough jobs. You're under a lot of public scrutiny. So are they. They need your support. They need your backing, and they will enforce our laws that we have on the books. And that's what a lot of people need who are struggling with drugs or any sort of issues or living on the street. A lot of times we need to remember when to use law enforcement as a point of intervention in people's lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers. You have concluded the business of the council this evening.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will adjourn.